Hey guys, I am John Carrick, and today we are here looking at Conan the Barbarian 128. I don't have 127. It is a gap in the series. So we'll get back to it. We also have the World Fantasy Tarot card, the Page of Wands, the Necromancer. This has got to be the most terrifying of all the magical villains Conan ever faces. They're always the ones who really mess you up. The Necromancer. And this is a beat-up copy of Conan the Barbarian, or just Conan. Maybe this one's just Conan. It's not the Barbarian. The sword is here, the sword of the gods. This is 128, cover by Kane. 127 was also drawn by Kane, so guess they had John Buscema on something else. And I decided I am not going to speculate about the internal workings of Marvel Comics anymore. I'm going to just proceed with the comic as it stands. I don't want to talk about who the writer is now versus who he may have been back then. I'm just going to review the comic as its comic book of itself. You know, there's plenty of drama going on in the world that I don't need to add to it. Conan, right here, is wandering in a blizzard. We missed one issue. And he finds this hut, and he is freezing to death because he doesn't have any clothes on. All he has is a Roman centurion's cloak. Kane is a good artist. He draws different than John Buscema, but he is a good artist. You know, it's weird when I can learn probably a lot more from Kane than from John Buscema. Kane seems more like an engineer. I do like his blocking and camera placement, and I mean, from what I understand, he was a workhorse too. Like, he just killed it. Like, he turned in tons of work. I said in some of these previous that I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it. Some of the issues that I saw that he did earlier. But I like this one. So Conan finds a wife and a child in a small cabin. He smashes in the door and then collapses. Smashes in the door, terrifying them, and then collapses. And when he wakes up, this girl, this is a girl, this is the princess, is there, and he reaches for his sword, but it's not nearby. And then this old friend is the husband of this wife and child, son. And Conan knows him. His name is Lanan. And they wrestle for a minute. And they haven't seen each other in a while. They grew up together. We're about to hear all that. We're about to get the whole story. The story about how Lanan ended up here and when they were kids. That when he first came to Conan's village, that he was the new kid, and Conan defended him and made him feel welcome. And then, where's the rest of it? Okay, so that's just about them being kids. Plus, he was really good on the equivalent of the guitar, the lyre, and he would play music and tell stories about far-off lands. There's an element of this that implies that he's different than the other kids. It's not implied. It's just straight written into the text. But it's not in the art. And I'm not going to get into who J.M. DeMatteis is and what he's trying to do. It's not in the art. There's just, he got picked on for whatever reason. And they wrote this outsider thing into it that's a little weird. Anyhow, he ended up with an Asian wife and child, and he's about to tell that story. He pulls the lyre down off the shelf, off the hearth, and sings about how he got chased out of the village after Conan left. For some unknown reason, these people picked on him and chased him away, and he went to live on his own. And this girl, this beautiful Asian princess, came to him out of the winds, out of like not really a tornado. There's those fingers, those like winds, you know, the mini tornadoes, I guess. I don't know what they're called. sound retarded now. And they got together and he had a kid. So obviously he was not gay. He wasn't chased out because he played the liar and he liked boys. And that's why he and Conan were friends, which is kind of the weird way that there's, again, I don't want to get into who's who. I can't turn everything into a culture war artifact. And I don't want to be that guy. The writing, let's just say the writing and the art don't match. Leave it at that. So Conan hears something. And they run outside. He's panicked. And he's like, what is it? What is it? And it's, do you see the wings? Do you see? Here they come. These some attacking birds that we can't see yet that apparently have swords for wings. These hawkmen. So she flies in a wind tunnel. These hawkmen arrive and carry off her husband. And Conan can't stop them, can't chase them. And of course, the princess comes out panicked. And Conan wants words with her, and she wants words with him. And then the wizard, Faustus, I actually remembered his name. He arrives with, it's a projection, it's a magical projection. And he has a message for Yono, which is the Asian girl's name, Princess Yono. He says, I have your husband. You know what I want. It's taken me forever to find you. Get the items that I desire, and then you can have your husband back. So he is holding him hostage. He's not just going to kill him. It's not, some other group. It could have been anything. So now she says, Conan's like, I'll have words with you. She's like, yeah, I'll have words with you too. So they're going to talk this over. She tells him about Faustus flying magical city, and that's where he's holding her husband. But this is a cut to. This is not her telling her story at all. This is Faustus telling Lanan that his wife has lied to him, and that she is a princess assigned by creation to guard these sacred objects. A sword, a crown, and a magic mirror. And that if Faustus has those, he can rule the world. It's the Infinity Gauntlet play, right? If he gets these, it's the armor of God, sort of like the armor of God, the sword of truth, the shield of whatever, shield of righteousness, the helmet of, I don't remember. But there's a Jackie Chan movie called The Armor of God. Some really poorly drawn Dungeons and Dragons. I think this is probably drawn 1-to-1 or maybe even smaller and then scaled up. I don't know why that looks so bad. But she fled Faustus. He's been chasing her for 500 years. Now he's got her husband up in this city. And she's telling Conan, and he's telling her that she's lied to him. She's telling Conan what they have to do, and she knows what they have to do, and Conan offers to help her. There's this line, "Get your hands off me," which is also kind of weird. It could have been written as he's trying to comfort her. It didn't have to be. Again, I can't do solid praise when it's, not saying it's phoned in, but they had a deadline. So she takes them she takes them to the savage lands of Kush, but in the text, it says they're back in the jungles of Africa. But this looks a lot more like Pellucidar. This looks more like the savage lands down in Antarctica. And I'm just going to say that this is incorrectly written. That this is not where the Bamulas are. Conan just spent how many issues trying to escape Africa. This is not Africa. This is the savage lands. Marvel has this in their universe. It's a shared universe. And it does say the savage lands south of Kush, but they're so far south it's the Antarctic. And here they find the sword in a graveyard, which is awesome. And if Gil Kane came up with that, that's great writing. If J.M. DeMatteis came up with that, that's great writing. This goes right to today's card. There is some synchronicities in the world sometimes. Because Conan, I don't know how Conan, what is he going to use to carry this sword out of there? He's certainly not going to do it on his back. He's going to have to enslave one of these guys. Get them to carry it. See the hands? I was also, it crossed my mind. There's not quite enough room to bury a whole person in front of these, but maybe they're standing up. And that's it. The Warriors of Eternity. I like Gil Kane's art. I like his cross-hatching. I like his contour lines. I like how smooth and even they are. This is George Russo's on colors. I don't remember who the embellisher is. I don't think it's Bob McCloud. Let's take a look, shall we? Guess Gil Kane did everything. George Russo's colorist. Gil Kane inked his own work. Good for him. So, Conan the Barbarian, 128. This one has seen some damage. This is a battle-damaged copy. Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Two of the best science fiction novels that you'll never get to read. Because people don't read anymore. They're here on YouTube for a little while. I will finish them. I will get them out on Audible. And when that happens, they're going to come down off of here. And I love doing this. I love fiction. I love reading it. I love evaluating it. I love looking at how it could be handled a little bit different to make it 100 times better. And that's I have a day job. I have not been able to make fiction my career. That's okay. That's okay. What I would have had to sacrifice, if you look at where things are, I'm doing it. This is it. This is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. Because there's no other way. I have to do it on my own. And being on my own it's interesting that this book that's what that's about, is, a guy living out on his own, wife and kid. I had the wife. I was married. It was the best time of my life. Ashley Fox, Ninja Babysitter, is our comic book. It's here in the description. You guys can check it out. I am doing this a little bit early today. I have to run out for an eye doctor's appointment in a couple minutes, so put the beanie on. And today's Conflicted card. This is what's on my mind. Conflicted, deck 3, the Jack of Spades. This is a really good one. This one is written to the card. Gordon is the Josie Wales of his group, and he is constantly putting himself at risk for the group, and the group is benefiting from it incredibly. And he's on his own. He's the one taking all the risk. He's gonna end up in this sort of scenario, an end of the world scenario, where you're Conan, you're Josie Wales. You die first. You're not the last man standing. You die first. And Gordon knows it. Because you've only got 9 lives. And you know what? The people around you will push you right off the cliff 9 times before they jump once. Especially if you survive the first couple. So, what does that have to do with my place in the world today? And why am I out here trying to justify myself? Last night I had a oversized reaction to drama going on with people I've never met and who I will likely never meet. And it wasn't a big deal. I was just, like saying things in the chat that I would never say to someone face to face. But the anger was real. And it was here when I made my recording last night. I was still feeling it. And it's outsized anger at the whole culture war, at everything that's gone on since 9/11, 2001. That's when it really ramped up. That's when the culture war, that's when everything that you want to say masks off. I would say it started with the assassination of JFK and his brother, but 2001 was we've got these bitches and now we're gonna just take it all, and we are in the process of being taken from. Ukraine is a great example of that. Ukraine is a great example of that. Where did all that money go? It was taken by the 50 richest Jews who run this country. I'm just going to accuse them. I'm going to say it's all Jews. And that I know there's traitorous white people involved, but fuck the Jews. So, just because. Just for fun. Just because fuck you. Because it's real. It's real. It's real, or I wouldn't be watching magnificent comic book artists having to do a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365-day a year telethon to fucking work. That's how real it is. There's no white male writers writing anything except gay fiction and fucking lesbian shit. Stuff for girls. There is no male fiction, and white women are making videos here on YouTube laughing about it. They're so pleased with themselves, but they couldn't have done any of it without Jew money. It's Jew money behind feminism, communism. Jews are happy to murder people with communism. When you starve someone to death, that's murder. That's how I ended up in this country. The Irish potato famines and World War I. The German side of my family, I think, came over after or before World War I. So, fuck the world. I don't know anybody's shit. I'm on my own. I gave an eye to be on my own. So Gordon, what would you do if you were Gordon? Just walk the fuck out. Just leave. Just leave. Because they're going to fucking kill you. They're going to keep volunteering you until you die. Or you find a couple of them who can step up. But if they're not there, if they're all pussies, if they're all bitches, and they're all going to push you out in front of the bullets first, you're not obligated to do that for anyone. Especially if they won't stand behind you. And that's what this card says. They won't stand behind you. If you've got a couple guys who will stand behind you, you can do anything. You can move mountains. You really can. But it's hard to get people who are all in. And it's funny, a lot of the drama, this is going to be, because I have to talk about this. I'm just going to come right out and talk about this right now. A lot of the drama is centered around one incredible artist who, for lack of a better term, needs a support structure to be productive. And one of the guys talked about how when he was in art school, there was a guy there, and he says, I don't like to do sketch contests. I don't like doing sketches. If I'm going to sit down and do a piece of work, I want to finish it. I don't want to just do sketch contests and do sketches. I don't like doing them, and here's why. When I was in art school, there was a kid there who was incredibly talented, and he was on a full ride scholarship. And he never went to class. He never turned in his assignments. All he did was fill sketchbooks, and he failed out, and he lost his ride. I could never even imagine. Shane, what did he say that he did? He sold he worked in a factory for 3 years to make the money to go to art school. I could not have done that. That would have fucking wrecked my mind. Mad congrats to Shane. Mad congrats to Shane. I went to the Marine Corps to get my money for art school. So that was how I did it. The GI Bill, and I worked my way through animation school. I think the Marine Corps was a better bet. But whatever. I worked construction. I'm thinking about the shit that I've gone through to get here. It's such a strange place to be. I really, really am proud of where I am. I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change any of it for the world. See you guys tomorrow.